All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Aaron Fragnito here with a weekly real estate news briefing. We're going to break right into it here, and we're going to share a few very interesting news stories that are going on right now. And these are very cool news stories. So let's break into it here. Who is our first news story about? All hail Newark's queen, Brick City native Queen Latifah talks about her latest role, real estate developer. So I'm Aaron Fragnito, your host of the show today. We focus on 3 news topics every week. This is a news show for property owners by property owners, and we're focused on New Jersey, New York City metropolitan market as well. So we do a lot in Newark. So I'm going to talk about this article here. We'll break into it right now. Newark's native Queen Latifah borrowed a line from her late contemporary Tupac Shakur as she discussed what it's been like trying to redevelop a hard scramble corner of the Newark, a neighborhood she still thinks of as a home. There was a lovely woman who lived across the street on 17th Street who would grow sunflowers. And to me, she was my inspiration, Latifah told NJ Advanced Media, referring to the lot she first envisioned as housing and community space in 2006. And this woman, like I said, would grow these sunflowers every year, and these beautiful flowers would grow on the property. And for me, I see it as roses that come from the concrete. The Rose That Grew from Concrete is a poem by Shakur read by some as autobiographical and more broadly viewed as a metaphor for perseverance, for the triumph of truth, beauty, or life itself, even in the harshest conditions. The article goes on to say here that for over a decade, Latifah has persevered in trying to realize her vision of comfortable, spacious, and affordable housing at the corner of Springfield Ave and South 17th Street in her old neighborhood. Despite a housing bubble burst and a Great Recession, a protracted land acquisition process, the coronavirus pandemic, and other obstacles. I'll stop here for a second. I know exactly where this is on Springfield Ave and South 17th. It's near the ShopRite that just came in there. A lot of redevelopment going on. It may be an opportunity zone as well. I actually talked to the city about buying some lots right around this area to try to develop it, and they really weren't too friendly to us developing that area. So we're not Queen Latifah. I'm sure it would help if we had Queen Latifah on our team. Note to self, bring a celebrity on your development team if you want to get things passed through in Newark. We didn't have a whole lot of success getting developments approved in that area. The article goes on here to say, however, and now after being granted a pair of tax abatements by the Newark City Council in July that are key to the $15 million project's feasibility, Latifah, through her company Blue Sugar, and her project partners from Roselle Park-based Sosa Development, I know them, Ricardo there, say they'll break ground this October with an anticipated completion date of spring 2022. I'm going to stop there for a sec. Very cool to see a friendly name here. My friend Ricardo Gonzalez, I think it's or Sosa, and his partner here. Cool development company. They've been around. He's a self-made real estate developer there, good guy. We see him at the auctions a lot. We've done a number of transactions with him. Very happy to see him here in this news article. Very cool. I'll have to congratulate him some other time. Article goes on to say here, the project includes a total of 60 market rate apartments and 20 multifamily townhouses, plus a larger building containing 16 units of affordable housing and community space. It'll be one of the larger developments in recent years to take root outside the city's booming downtown real estate market, where another Newark native and equally lofty stature, Shaquille O'Neal, has been involved in a pair of high-profile, high-rise apartment projects. Of course, Shaq. Now, to tell you how far back this goes, 2006 was when I started looking at these properties, said Queen Latifah, who was born Dana Elaine Owens in Newark 50 years ago in March. So I'm not new. I'm not no new person, and this is not me trying to jump on a bandwagon. This is me having a vision from years ago. Here's a nice picture. There's Ricardo's company. Their logo, very exciting. Vacant lot, Springfield and 17th there. Good spot, very good spot. I'm sure they'll have lots of success. Article goes on to say, so what happened was I was driving by one day. I always come home, and whenever I come home, I always miss home. So I just drive around Newark, she said, adding that she's a familiar face at Whole Foods on Broad Street. Yes, very hot spot there. But anyway, I was driving down the street and I was looking at this block and I'm like, this whole block is almost empty. There's nothing really here. There's a couple of houses here. There's this big house in the corner, this apartment building which is basically abandoned. There was one or two people who had houses who actually lived there. And I thought, what if I could get this street and totally redo this entire block? I could bring it into something that it should be, redo it and rebuild it. That's great. There's so many blocks like that in the city. I totally encourage that. Article goes on to say Latifah had already had a taste of urban redevelopment in the 1990s when she and her other members of the Flavor Unit, a hip-hop collective that included Naughty by Nature and other artists and producers, moved into a century-old firehouse amid the warehouses of downtown Jersey City, most of them now redeveloped into luxury lofts. Boy, oh boy, if you bought Jersey City in the 90s, you're sitting pretty right now. We were really looking for a home base, Latifah recalled, and then we saw this firehouse. It was just like perfect. I love architecture and design. I thought it was beautiful. Later in Newark, 2 years later, Latifah first eyed the site of the mixed-use project known as Rise. The Great Recession of 2008 shook her real estate industry and sidelined the project. Years passed as Latifah acquired some of the properties needed for the project, including a house with 6 apartments she continued to rent out while maintaining her music, film, and television career. Recent credits in the Oscar nominee and the Grammy, Emmy, and Golden Globe winner include playing Haiti McDonald and the first Black actor to win an Oscar in this year's Netflix miniseries Hollywood. But the progress on the project was slow at best. Luckily, one day, a guy asked one of the people who took care of her 6-family unit, what's going on with the rest of these properties? And his name was Alberto, Latifah said, referring to Alberto Goncalves, Ricardo Sosa's partner at Gon Sosa. And it was the kind of project, perfect marriage, because we both kind of built ourselves from the ground up. We don't come from money. We've gone through tough, difficult times in life, and we've become successful. So we joined together to create this property that we've been developing, and we'll be breaking ground in October, finally. Congratulations. I'm going to stop here for a second. So I know Ricardo, he's a good, hardworking guy. I know this company, very good local company. They've done a lot of development, but there's a big step for them as well. And, it's funny, I was wondering to myself, how did Ricardo get this deal? And it's because you're out there doing the business, managing real estate, working with properties. You're in the market, working with investors, being celebrities in this case, getting a project going. And that's how you get to get into these types of projects and get into opportunities like this in the marketplace. It's a lot of who you know, not always what you know in real estate, in a lot of industries, but especially real estate. So in this case, working with managing Queen Latifah's building allowed Ricardo and his company here to get this opportunity to develop a huge building. Not only is that great for the development fees and equity in the building possibly, but also management fees long term. So very good opportunity for any developer here. And the name of the game is who you know, not what you know. And that's a great example here of Ricardo crushing it, getting a great opportunity here to develop and manage a very nice piece of real estate, 76-unit residential townhomes coming to Springfield Ave and South 17th. Very cool. Anyway, the article goes on to say, Latifah said she wants to see Newark grow into the full-fledged metropolis that she remembers as a child. Now estimated at about 282,000 residents, Newark's population peaked in 1930 at 442,000, according to the U.S. Census. Its numbers began rising again in the 2010 census, but there's still about 100,000 fewer residents that there were in 1970 when Latifah was born. I'm going to stop there for a sec. That's incredible. That means the city has enough real estate to handle another 100,000 people. Now, a lot of those buildings may have been demolished by now. This is 40 years ago you're talking about. Some of the buildings may be sitting there rotting away. There could be millions of reasons. We did find the city very difficult to work with at certain times to get these buildings that are abandoned or owned by the city over to private developers like us and get them developed. But, if Newark would allow more of those properties to sell, allow more of these developments to happen, like we're seeing actually in Patterson a little more, then I think Newark can really have a continued renaissance, as it already has downtown. But I want to see that renaissance continue into other areas. And that's why I found this article interesting, because it's about Springfield Ave getting developed. And if you know anything about Newark, you know that Springfield Ave and this part of Springfield Ave really isn't downtown. It's really more central Newark, where there needs to be more development dollars put. Downtown's a great area, hot spot, but now let's focus on other parts of Newark as well and make this city comparable to something like Jersey City. All right, article continues here. You never really had to leave Newark if you didn't want to. And there were plenty of entrepreneurs that I grew up around, including my grandfather, who owned a hardware store on 18th Street, American Hardware. And my father owned one as well, Latifah said. We've been Newark residents for more than 100 years, said Latifah, the daughter of Rita and Lancelot Owens, a school teacher and a police officer. I lived on Littleton Ave off of South Orange Ave. I grew up in North Newark as well on Broad Street, great area, where my grandmother's house was. My family was all over Newark, in Vailsburg, you name it. This is a home for me, so I want to be home. We've got fixed up a little bit, but that's all. Mayor Ras Baraka has made it a cornerstone of his administration to encourage development in neighborhoods outside of the downtown, and he issued a statement praising Latifah's efforts. When you look at everything Queen Latifah has done for Newark, you know that this is a woman who loves our city and is devoted to our people, Baraka said. Her redevelopment project will help to re-energize a neighborhood with enormous potential. She's not only a great artist and performer, she's a fighter for social justice and racial justice and a very special, caring human being. All right, she has got the mayor on her side. That is why this got approved. Latifah, in turn, had high praise for the mayor and his father, the late poet and activist Amory Baraka. Those of us who are from Newark and those of us who are from the area, such as our mayor, Ras Baraka, and his family, they know the beauty that is Newark, Latifah said. His father is a jewel of Newark and is becoming, and he is becoming. And Ross has been very supportive of this project, as well as the council folks. Although the location of the project, known as Rise, is a couple of miles from downtown, Springfield Avenue is one of a handful of Newark's thoroughfares that fan out like spokes from the city's hub, serving as natural development corridors as growth extends outward into surrounding neighborhoods. It's a potential that Latifah recognized when she first eyed the site years ago, even before development took a great leap westward with construction of Springfield Marketplace, a retail plaza at Springfield Ave and Norfolk Street, anchored by a 70,000 square foot ShopRite supermarket that opened in 2015. See, I just said that, the ShopRite area there. So you got to know your markets. The redevelopment of Springfield Ave has a special significance for the city, as it was the scene of some of the worst violence in the 1967 Newark riots, which accelerated white flight and disinvestment from Newark and even shaped the fortress-like redevelopment of downtown that did take place for years afterwards. But I also see it as a place where the Newark Knights are, Latifah added, referring to her the social club that sponsors a youth football and cheer program. We also have motorcycle clubs there. Latifah is a motorcycle rider herself. Like I said, again, West Side Park is a few blocks away. I actually leased out to a motorcycle club. They're not paying the rent. Interesting. Anyway, a lot of people have been inclined, as I was, to build something downtown in Newark, she said. But those things are already happening. There are a couple of places that I was looking at that there as well. When I saw this block, I thought, why not? Why not? Why not see what the status of it is, and if I can acquire some of these properties? One of the people doing the building downtown is Latifah's friend and fellow Newark native, O'Neill, who, along with his business partners at Bergen Development of New Brunswick, just completed a 22-story apartment tower near New Jersey Performing Arts Center, known as 50 Rector Park. The NBA legend turned analyst turned developer is now working on a second downtown project of a 32-story apartment tower that would include 370 apartments, 70 of them affordable. All right, go Shaq. Shaq's new project, 777 McCarter Highway, across the highway from the railroad embankment leading into Newark's Penn Station, is expected to break ground this fall, with completion anticipated in late 2022. There's no complete competition between the celebrity developers, and like her birthplace, Latifah had only love for O'Neill and for others who have called Newark home and tried to help it prosper. I want to give a shout out to my boy Shaq, who is doing his thing as well, Latifah said. You're looking at someone who's had a huge career and could do anything he wants with his life. We just have a love for Newark. And whether it's me, whether it's Faith Evans, whether it's the three doctors, Newark builds us up in a way that allows us to go around the world and accomplish all kinds of things. But we always come home because we consider it a special place that has a special place in our hearts. Very nice. Okay, so that's our first article there. We invest a lot in Newark. I personally made my first $1 million in Newark in real estate, and I love Newark. I think Newark's a great city with a lot of opportunity. There's a very cool article about two celebrities, fun celebrities, Shaquille O'Neal, Queen Latifah, kind of not only completely serious celebrities, but getting into real estate here. Very fun and exciting, and so very cool opportunity here for Newark to be flourishing some more. And I'm glad the politicians there approve the development. We've had some challenges with that. We should have had Queen Latifah on our team, and we would have had our developments approved. So you live and you learn in the real estate development world. Okay, here's our next article. Hudson County real estate market thrives as New York City couples, families continue to migrating for more value. Okay. For years, Hudson County real estate has enticed scores of New Yorkers to ditch the Big Apple in favor of more space and lower rents without sacrificing city access. The coronavirus pandemic seems to be accelerating those migrations. As New York City real estate suffers amid the pandemic, the vacancy rates spiking and rents falling, Hudson County's market has continued to flourish. Industry professionals say, in recent months, it's proven to be a haven for both renters and prospective buyers who are working from home and looking to spread out. We've seen that in other counties and Bergen County as well. They want more for their money, and they want the convenience of New York, said Tukitha Silvers, an accredited buyer's representative for Provident Legal Real Estate, specializing in properties in Bayonne and Jersey City. Everyone's lives have changed dramatically during this pandemic, so people are really just adapting to the new norm. You get more square footage, you get more backyard space, you get more parking. Amen. Silvers said April, May, and June were amongst her busiest months ever. A shift in the New York real estate market may be the reason. Average rent in Jersey City during April, May, and June was up about 0.2% from the same time last year, according to Apartment Guide's mid-rent report. Meanwhile, in Manhattan, average rent was down about 6% between July and last year and July this year, according to Douglas Elliman Real Estate Company, signaling less demand for rentals. That difference grew to 10% when landlord concessions were included. So this is showing that New York City really was overpriced. It's been overpriced for a while. It needed a rent correction. Jersey City, which is very high in rent, didn't even drop in the last few months during this pandemic. So really a strong value is held here in North Jersey, in these North Jersey cities, especially Bergen County. There's a certain appeal that not being in Manhattan and saving the money on being near transportation, said Jonathan Kushner, president of Kushner Real Estate Group. We're very definitely seeing some tenants saying, I don't want to be in Manhattan right now with everything going on. We feel safer here. There's more space. Yep, I can see that. Kushner's first residential building in Bayonne, Bay 151, opened in May. Now about 140 of its 200 units have been leased, he said. About 40% of renters who move into brand new buildings in Hudson County are relocating from Manhattan, Kushner said, adding that his firm has seen a slight uptick in that percentage during this pandemic. Raymond Bassora can't wait to escape New York, despite having lived in the city for almost 46 years. Bassora describes the New Jersey like a paradise. I'll live here a few years and see how you feel then. He wasn't feeling the love for New York City much before the pandemic, but the virus's impact on city living is what officially did it for him, he said. In a crappy neighborhood in New York City, they want some ridiculous amount of rent. We're just tired of it, Bassora said. Recently engaged, Bassora and his fiancée, Maddie Santiago, are looking for a home in Bayonne. A parking space is priority, so Santiago won't have to circle her neighborhood after commuting home from Manhattan like she currently does in Brooklyn. Oh, I used to hate that in Manhattan. I mean, in Hoboken. Others relocating are looking for extra space for a home gym, office, or even a classroom, said Silvers, Bassora's real estate agent. Renters and buyers get more space per dollar in Hudson County than in New York City, local agents say, and now every square foot makes a difference. Condominium sales at Port Imperial's 9 on the Hudson have approximately doubled during this pandemic, said sales consultant Bill Bergen of K. Hovnanian Homes, who's seen a wave of qualified applicants with high budgets. He's now labeling dens as offices to appeal to those working from home. Makes sense. We have loft-style apartments we're leasing. Maybe I should advertise the lofts as offices. Agents said most of New Yorkers participating in migration are between 25 and 50, though there are some empty nesters as well. You're getting a lot of young couples that feel like they're banging into each other, said Grace Mancini, a real estate agent with Smart Realty, who works with a lot of properties in Weehawken and Port Imperial waterfront. And Zoe 22 is slightly younger than the average person migrating to Hudson County. She recently graduated from Fordham University and was initially planning to move between boroughs, not states. But as a real estate salesperson, she discovered Bayonne and decided to move into Bay 151, at least for now. Since arriving, she's been satisfied with the path service, discovering a sizable Chinese community in Jersey City, and enjoyed a respite from the sirens she heard in Bronx at any time of day or night. Sal said. It's pretty nice, she said. Yeah, Jersey City really is, and Bayonne really is a melting pot. It's a very nice area there. A lot of different types of foods and cultures, very exciting things to do. Even though quarantine has been the primary motive behind some recent migrations west, those who moved are probably here to stay, even when their offices reopen, Mancini said. I don't think it's temporary, she said. I think they're being educated now, and they don't need to be there. Hey, very interesting article here. I'm going to wrap up quickly. I'm not going to read this third article here. We do see this demand, though, not only in Bergen County, but all over in Essex County and Hudson and Union County. So we're seeing that. This article is about Hudson County, of course, and also talks a little bit about Bergen County there. This article is just about Eli Manning selling his super home in Summit, New Jersey, which is where I used to live, for $5.25 million. I'm not going to read this whole article. We're going to wrap up here with the real estate news briefing, but this was interesting because I saw that he bought it for $4.7 million, completely redid the property head to toe. It was built in 1904. So I've done projects like this. They're not cheap. There's no way he spent less than $500,000 on this project. And so I'm running the numbers here, Mr. Eli Manning. You're good at football, but I'm not sure how good a real estate investor you are, although you are developing something in Summit. So we'll see how that goes. But as far as this investment, it looks like he bought it for $4.7 million. He's trying to sell for 5.25. The renovation must have cost him anywhere between $250,000 to $500,000. So let's say it cost him $300,000. He's into it for $5 million. By the time he pays a realtor commission, property taxes, closing costs, he's going to make I don't know, maybe $50,000 in profits. So not a great return on investment for the amount of money he invested, but who knows? Maybe his numbers are a little more attractive than that. But based on my quick analysis here, Mr. Manning, I think you are not doing as good as you could have if you invested that capital in People's Capital Group. But then again, this is a beautiful home to live in. So this is my third article here. I'm not going to read the whole thing. We're out of time here. We had two long articles, one about Queen Latifah redeveloping Newark, and another one about Hudson County and the mania going on there with the buyers, which we're seeing throughout New Jersey right now as people try to exit New York City and enter North Jersey here. Luckily, we've been investing here for years and own a lot of real estate in the North Jersey market, and we're seeing rents go up, collections stay strong, even through this tough time as masses of people come from Manhattan and the boroughs to get out of the rat race there a little bit and come over to North Jersey, where we have a little bit less of a rat race. So that is my conclusion. That's what we're seeing as well here in our business, also in North Jersey, and these articles correlate with that also. Hope you enjoyed our show here today. I'm Aaron Fragnito with we do the Passive Cash Flow podcast. We do that every Friday, and we do the Wednesday weekly news briefing, real estate news briefing here, Wednesdays midday. Thanks a lot. Check out People's Capital Group to learn more about how you can participate in an upcoming real estate investment opportunity. That's it for today. I'm Aaron Fragnito, your host, co-founder of People's Capital Group. Enjoy your day.